SUV coach, he said, "Don't worry about it, Bell. We got plenty to deliver here for you to take north." He was incredible, great recruiter. I loved the guy. I mean, he was in the same town as Vanderbilt. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Vanderbilt, he said, you go across the street and go to Vanderbilt, and he says, they got all those great kids. He said, but you come here to Tennessee A&I, and you're getting them pro prospects. And I said, oh my God, this is a world that I absolutely love that world.
Yeah.
Grambling, Tennessee A&I, Alcorn A&M, Jackson State, Southern University, Fisk, Prairie View over in Texas. That's where all the players were. Now, to be honest, I mean, there were pro scouts going there, but they were much older than me. I started out, I was 24, 25 years old. That's a kid. That's still a kid today, to have that type of experience and authority. Where most of the scouts that are in their 50s and 60s, they knew the area. But I can remember leaving on a trip, the first trip, going through Virginia, the Shenandoah Valley, and then across into Tennessee, and up through the hills and the towns, and then over to Mississippi, into Alabama. And each place you went to was completely different. You could drive 5 miles and have breakfast at a restaurant. You all come back again, and we have the grits and everything else like that. And then you get into another town, and they weren't as nice. I mean, it was one to the other. But the one thing that I do remember was that it was either in Mississippi or Alabama. Somebody said, "Well, ask me what I did," and I said, "I'm a scout." And the Colson guy looks out the window and sees this huge Lincoln Continental. Somebody called it Moby Dick. Out in the driveway, and he said, "Ain't no scouts around here that drive that damn thing." And I said, "No, I really am a scout." And he said, "Well," he said, "yeah, you're 5 years removed from our last lynching." And I was like, really? I didn't say anything, but I thought, wow, this is reality.
Was that a white guy or?
Oh, it was a white guy.
Who said that?
Yeah, it was in a restaurant or somewhere.
And how did that affect you?
Well, it's what I would call the ultimate wake-up call. Yeah. Now you're here. Now, little by little, you begin to learn that there are two. It's like a caste system. There are two types of people that live in the South. The ones who are white and have certain feelings. Some places better, some places worse, about a person being black or African American. Then they used other names. There were total separatists. You might as well, it was American apartheid. It was South Africa before South Africa. And you could drive through these little towns and the African American community totally separate. And only would maybe come to town and go to the store, something out of the movie. And you would see this because I was going through in those days, and even to a degree today, to get to the different colleges. Grambling is out in the middle of nowhere. You have to go down to Jackson Trace. You have to fly into Jackson, Mississippi, rent a car, and go down 100, 200 miles to Alcorn A&M. Some of the most beautiful territory you've ever seen in your life. It is the lush South, like people describe it. And you would go to Jackson State was in Jackson, Mississippi, so that's one thing. But most of these places were Prairie View and A&M. They were out in the middle of nowhere. So to be a scout, you had to drive to these places. You couldn't fly into them. And you see it was a separate world of all of these. I said to myself, geez, I'm still going to Alabama with Bear Bryant there, in Mississippi with Johnny Vaughn, and all of these other big name places. But I kept saying to myself, I've seen some pretty good players, but they're not as good as the players I'm seeing at these African American schools. And I'm also thinking in the back of my head when I start writing my reports, am I going to say, like one of the people we drafted, Ray Perkins, who ended up being a terrific player with us at the Colts, ended up head coach of the New York Giants, and then at Alabama, and people like that who really, John Hanna, who came here with the Patriots, but when I would go to Prairie View and see Otis Taylor, I'd say, my God, this guy's flying, this guy's like the wind, he's flying. This would be at night, you could hardly see the lights. I mean, it was totally different. Fields were, some fields were muddy, some fields were dusty, but you could see this town. And one of the things I also learned is, don't bring the film back for your coaches at draft time to see. Because a lot of times the film either didn't work, or it was too dark or too light, and it just looked like a bunch of people just running around with their heads cut off. Didn't look like if you went and you went to Alabama, or you went to Mississippi, or you went to Tennessee, or Florida, these places where, they have 9 or 10 people on the staff. It was just completely different. And therefore, I'll give you an example, even in my own hometown when I was with the Colts, Baltimore, Willie Lanier and Leroy Kelly were right in my own backyard. Willie Lanier was a 5'10.5" guard. And I remember telling DeShula, this guy's really terrific. And he said to me, where the hell's he going to play? He's 5'10". I said, well, maybe linebacker. He said, well, he can't play in the line. He isn't big enough. And Leroy Kelly was pretty good. But if you didn't go see them in practice, you didn't know how great they really were. And then the other problem was that if I came back and said that Otis Taylor is better than any receiver as a #1 draft choice, coaches would say, look at me and laugh. But of course he went on to be one of the great, in those days, until Jerry Rice came along at Mississippi Valley State. Who the hell ever went to Mississippi Valley State? Some people thought it was Fort Knox or something. He was drafted in the first round. If it was in the 60s, he might be lucky to be drafted in the 4th or 5th round.